Fresh paint. Wahoo! Let's do this.
I start drawing straight on with pen because I think it makes it more immediate and exciting for me as well. And sometimes it's not a bad thing to make mistakes and work through them and maybe use the mistakes as a kind of a visual part, a sort of area of excitement. So I'm drawing all these little characters in. I'm copying from a photo, using it as reference and adding in my own bits where I fancy. Then I get going with the paints. And so I'm very sloppy with the paints. I don't really muck around too much. I just mix it all up, get going, and put it in there, like that. I start with the backgrounds because I tend to make them more faded than the foreground parts or the parts that I want to stand out, which are usually the cyclists in the case of these paintings. So I do them in a sort of faded way. And there is this kind of trick which I often think about with these pictures, is that the things you put in darkest stand out the most. And so you'll see at the end of this painting, when I put in the dark parts, as I'm doing there on the side, on the right hand side, that kind of comes to the foreground. And it creates that sense of depth. So now I'm plopping in the cyclists. I have to make sure that the paint dries, obviously. But so often I'm so impatient, I just don't let it dry and it goes everywhere. But again, I just try and make it part of the picture. I don't fuss too much about it. Then finally I get in with the ink, the Indian ink, which I think brings out the figures really nicely and adds another texture to the paintings. They're not just watercolour, they're also ink drawings at the same time, which creates that kind of dynamism because there's more than one thing going on at once. Now creating that depth, as you can see with the dark bits, which bring out the foreground more so than before.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, and the paintings in particular, please go over to the Kickstarter site where I'm trying to raise a bunch of money to get these books produced so you can have a lasting memory of this year's tour, and if you want as well, last year's tour. So in 10 years time you can look at it and really relive the whole experience and bring back those fond memories, as well as now just poring over it and enjoying the paintings for what they are. So please take a look at the Kickstarter. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll put one of these out soon, I'm sure.